Hello folks, this is Tom Martin. This is my lottery strategy game, Decoding the Powerball, the Powerball guessing game. I'm picking my numbers for the drawing on January 27th, 2018. I have 7 strategies for my game Decoding the Powerball. So strategy number 1, the game card color code. Okay, so if you've never seen my videos before, what you're looking at is what I call the game card. This represents all 69 white ball numbers in the Powerball lottery. I really don't have anything for the Powerball itself. My goal is to get all 5 white balls correct and win the $2 million prize with the Power Play option. Okay, so first things first, I'm going to go to the Powerball homepage. And the 5 white winning numbers that just came up were the 5, 9, 11, 33, and 64. Again, I really don't care about the red ball. Okay, so what I do is I take those 5 white winning numbers and I put it at the top of this list. And then I take the last 3 drawings of numbers and I transfer them over to the game card as red numbers. Then I did the same thing with orange, green, blue, and purple. I have 5 different colors, one to represent each one of the 5 white winning Powerball numbers. So for this drawing here, I have 14 red numbers, 15 orange, 11 green, 18 blue, and 11 purple. Okay, so over to the far right, this 197, this represents how many color code drawings I get track of so far. And out of this 197, 105 have come up a 3-color combination. 73 have come up a 4-color combination. 16 have come up a 2-color combination. And only 3 times out of 197 drawings have all 5 colors come up together. And never has it been just 1 color. Okay, so this number right here, this tells me how many colors just came up in the last drawing. So you can see that there's 2 purple numbers, 2 green, and a red for 3 colors total. Okay, so since hardly ever do all 5 colors come up, the strategy is try to guess which one of these colors won't be coming up and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. Okay, so for this drawing here, I'm going to guess that no orange numbers will be coming up. Okay, and the reason why is because from this area down to here, you can see that there's just a lot of orange. Okay, there was 1 miss right here. Okay, so I just think that there's going to be a couple misses in a row. All right, it missed here, and now I think there's going to be another miss in the next drawing. So I'm going to eliminate these orange numbers off of the game card. Okay, so I'm just going to scroll to the right to speed things up. Now this is what the game card looks like so far with no orange numbers to it. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm taking $3 and I'm buying a Powerball ticket with the Power Play. Okay, so I'm betting $3 that none of these orange numbers will be coming up in the lottery. Okay, so if I'm correct in my pick and none of these orange numbers come up, then I'm 1 step closer to that $2 million prize. Okay, so I'm off to the next strategy. Strategy number 2, the individual numbers. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the individual numbers. Okay, and how this works is up top is the master for all the numbers. Okay, and over here to the far right are the numbers that just came up in the lottery. Again, it was 5, 9, 11, 33, and 64. Okay, so that means that it was a 4-group combination. Okay, so I'm just going to reduce this down so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so you're going to see that there's 7 groups here total. Okay, so group number 1 holds the numbers of 1 through 9. And then it's the teens, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s. Again, for 7 groups total. Okay, so there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so 2 of these groups won't be able to have a winning Powerball number to it. Okay, so the strategy is try to guess which one of these groups won't have the winning Powerball number to it and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. Okay, so how this works and how I use this is this big square right here. This is good for 5 drawings. Okay, so I like to break things down into 5 because it shows me a majority of things. Okay, so here I like to break it down into 5 because I can see how many hits were in this group for these last 5 drawings. Okay, so My theory is that if there's been a lot of hits in this 5, then maybe there won't be so many hits in the next 5 drawings, okay? Or vice versa, okay? So for this drawing here, I'm going to guess that no 30 numbers will be coming up. And the reason why is because you can see that this last 5, it had a lot of hits, okay? And here, it had a bunch of hits in a row, actually, okay? So it missed this one, and now it hit again. So I just think that's going to miss a couple times in a row, okay? So again, I'm just going to guess that no 30 numbers will be coming up. So I'm going to eliminate the 30 numbers off of the game card. Okay, so I'm just going to blow this back up. Go to the game card. I'm going to scroll to the right. And this is what the game card looks like so far. Again, with no orange numbers from the color code, and now no 30 numbers from the individual numbers. Okay, so what I'm doing with this $3 bet is I'm parlaying the color code bet with the individual numbers bet. Okay, so I'm going to add a bunch more parlays, okay, and really reduce the numbers down. Okay, so off to the next strategy. Strategy number 3, picking the numbers I hope will miss from group 1. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call my group 1 numbers. Okay, so basically what I did is I divided all the numbers into 4 different groups and put colors to them. Okay, so when the Powerball numbers come up, I record where they land down here in the stats. Okay, so I have 15 of these option cards. All right, and they all kind of look the same as far as red, blue, orange, and green. It's just that the colors that they represent are a little bit different from each other from each different option card. Okay, so as I go back to the Powerball homepage, the 5 white winning numbers were the 5, 9, 11, 33, and 64. Okay, so you can see that the 5 is in blue. Okay, the 9 and 11 are in red, so I put 2 down here under the red, 1 in the blue. Okay, the 33 is in the orange, so I put a 1 down here in the orange. And the 64 is in the green, so I put a 1 down here in the green. Okay, so this row, this tells me that it hit all 4 colors. All right, so as I go through, okay, and why I put this is because I could just easily go down through and see how many rows there has been, because sometimes they double up, like right here. Okay, so the strategy is with this group 1 is try to guess where these zeros are going to pop up. Okay, so here you can see the last drawing, there was no blue numbers. So if I could have correctly guessed that there was no blue numbers that came up, okay, that were going to come up, I could have eliminated all these blue numbers and really reduced the odds for myself. Okay, so again, I have 15 of these option cards to give me as many options as possible to pick where these zeros are going to pop up. Okay, so my first pick is going to be option card number 2, no red numbers. Okay, so the reason why I'm picking this one is because I hit 17 drawings in a row. Okay, so that means that one of these red numbers have come up in the last 17 drawings. Okay, so another reason why I'm picking this is because of this 40 right here. This represents how many blue zeros are in this whole column here. Okay, so here there's 40, in the blue there's 56, the orange is 59, and the green is 54, so this is way behind. And it hit 17 drawings in a row, so I'm just going to guess that no red numbers will be coming up in this option card number 2. So I'm going to eliminate all these red numbers off of the game card. Okay, so I'm just going to scroll to the right. And you can see that all these red numbers are gone now. Okay, so if I'm correct with my pick, then I'm just one step closer to that $2 million prize. Okay, so I'm going to go back to group 1, and my next pick is option card number 8, no red numbers. Okay, so the reason why I'm taking this red here is because every once in a while, these blue zeros, they double up, like right over here. Okay, So here in this red section, I got 19 of these single zeros. Okay, so I just think that it's due to double up like right here. Okay, so uh, again, I think that this is going to be a 0 right here. So I'm going to eliminate all these red numbers off of the game card. So I'm going to scroll to the right. And this is what the game card looks like so far. Okay, so I'm going to go back to group 1. And my next pick is going to be option card number 11, no green numbers. Okay, so the reason why I'm picking this one is because you can see that this is a single red mark right here, okay? And on number 1, a single red mark happens a lot, okay? So you can see that there's one over here, one right here, okay? So here in this green section, there hasn't been a single red mark in a very long time, all the way down here, okay? So I just think that this is due to have a single red mark to it, so I'm going to guess that there's going to be a 0 here, so I'm going to eliminate all these green numbers off of the game card. Okay, so this is what the game card looks like so far. Okay, so the reason why I'm showing you step by step is because I want you to see how I use my game in case you want to use it yourself to pick your own numbers, okay? And the second reason is that you can see and you can say, okay, well, this is where he messed up because a number came up in that green area. Okay, so again, I just want to show you step by step on how I use my game here. Okay, so I'm off to the next strategy. Strategy number 4, picking the numbers I hope will miss from group 2. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call my group 2 numbers. Okay, so much like group 1 where I divided things into 4 different groups, here I divided things into 8 different groups. Okay, so again, there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so 3 of these groups won't be able to have a winning Powerball number to it. Okay, so the strategy is try to guess which one of these groups won't have the winning Powerball number to it and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. Okay, so I'm just going to point out this red area here. Okay, so I keep the stats for the red right down here. And I have 15 of these option cards as well, and they all look the same as far as red, blue, orange, green, purple, brown, gray, yellow. It's just that the numbers that they represent are a little bit different from each other, from each different option card. Okay, so here, where I keep the stats, okay, so you can see this 0. That means that none of the 5 white winning Powerball numbers landed in this red area, okay? And of course, this 2 means that 2 out of the 5 white winning Powerball numbers landed in this red area. Okay, so I want to point something out with this. Okay, so you can see this 65. Okay, this shares the square with the 25. Okay, so as I go back to the game card, you can see this 25 is right here. Okay, and the 65 is right here. So it goes 21, 22, 23, 24, and over here should be the 25. Okay, so again, it shares the square with the 65. So what this means is that if I don't think that any of these red numbers are going to come up, I'm going to eliminate all these red numbers as a group. Okay, and the group is 1, 9, 17, 25, 33, 41, 49, 57, and 65, again, as a group, okay? So basically all I'm doing is trying to guess whether a group of numbers are going to come up in the lottery or not come up in the lottery, okay? So at this point, I'm just trying to eliminate numbers right now, and then I'll go back and pick what I think are going to come up. Okay, so for my pick for this group 2 is this option card number 2. I'm going to pick that no green numbers will be coming up. Okay, so another thing what I do is if there's 3 or more zeros within these 5 drawings here, I keep track of every 5, so it will show me a majority of things. Okay, so if there's 3 or more zeros here, I color it blue for cold. If there's 3 or more hits, I color it red for hot. Okay, so over time, I can look back in the history and say, okay, this group of numbers has been really hot. Well, now I think it's going to change and turn really cold, okay? And that's exactly what I think is going to happen with this green area right here, okay? You can see that it's been really hot, especially right down here. Now I think it's going to turn cold, so I think there's going to be lots of zeros coming up, okay? And a zero means that none of these numbers will be coming up, hopefully, okay? So I'm going to eliminate these green numbers off of the game card. Okay, so down here you can see that group 2, option card number 2, no green numbers, and you can see that there's no green numbers here. Okay, so off to my next pick. And my next pick is option card number 3, no red numbers. Okay, so here's the stats for the red, and as I go down, you can see it got pretty hot here, and now I think it's going to change. So I think a lot of zeros are going to be coming up here. So I'm going to eliminate these red numbers off of the game card. Okay, so I'm going to scroll to the left now. Okay, so you can see group 2, option card number 3, no red numbers. Okay, so here's the red, and you can see that there's no numbers there anymore. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm whittling down these numbers here. Okay, so if I'm correct with all my picks, the 5 white winning Powerball numbers should land within one of these colored numbers still on the board. Okay, so I'm going to go back to group 2, and my next pick is option card number 4, no gray numbers. Okay, so here's the stats for the gray. And you can see that it started off really hot and it got pretty hot. Now I think it's going to change, and I think there's going to be a 0 right here. So I'm going to eliminate all these gray numbers off of the game card. Okay, so this is what the game card looks like so far. Okay, so I'm going to go back for one more pick, and that's option card number 6, no red numbers. Okay, so here's the stats for the red, okay, and as you can see, it got really hot, and now I think it's going to turn cold, so I think there's going to be a 0 right here. So I'm going to eliminate all these red numbers off of the game card. I'll scroll to the left. And this is what the game card looks like so far. Okay, so I'm all done picking the numbers that I think are not going to come up. Okay, so I started off with 69 white ball numbers. Okay, so now I'm down to 3 here, and 4 here, and 5 equals 9. So I'm down to 9 numbers. Okay, so again, if I made all the correct picks, the 5 white winning Powerball numbers should land within these 5 numbers here. Okay, so to help me pinpoint what numbers are going to come up, I'm going to turn to my next strategy. And that's strategy number 5, the 50-50 picks. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the 50-50 picks. Okay, so again, there's 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so there's going to be a majority of either odd numbers or even numbers, or numbers to the high side or numbers to the low side. Okay, so I like to keep track of that and try to guess what the majority will be for the upcoming drawing. Okay, so this number right here, this 241, this is how many drawings I kept track of so far, and that's since October 7th, 2015. That's when the Powerball lottery went from 59 numbers to 69 numbers. Okay, so out of this 241 drawings, 120 have been the majority of odd numbers. 121 have been the majority of even numbers. Okay, so here I like to keep track of every 5 drawings as well, okay, to show me that majority. Okay, so the last 5 drawings, the majority was odd numbers. Okay, before that it was evens and then evens. Okay, so I could go back into history with this and try to guess what the next 5 drawings will be. Okay, so for me personally, I think it's going to be odds, but for this next drawing here, I think the majority is going to be evens. Okay, So I think it's going to be the majority here, then go back. Okay, so again, I think the majority is going to be even numbers. So as I go over, I have something for the high numbers and low numbers. Okay, so the red is in high and the low is in blue. Okay, so out of 241, 120 have been the majority of high numbers, and 121 have been the majority of low numbers. And then I have left and right. Okay, and out of this, I think the majority is going to go to the right side for this drawing, only because you can see that the last 5 drawings, the majority has been over to the left side. Okay, so as I go back into history, the maximum here is 5 drawings, or is it 6? Okay, so it hardly ever goes more than 6 drawings here. Okay, so as I go back into history, you can see that, you know, hardly ever does it go, you know, like more than 4 or 5. Okay, so I'm just gonna guess that it's run its course from the left side here, so I think the majority will be over to the right side. Okay, so, and I have one more. Okay, and this is the left and right. Okay, I mean the red and blue here. Okay, so you can see that the majority of things have been over to the red side, 137 drawings to 104. For some reason, I think that's going to keep on going. I think the majority of the numbers will land within this red area than the blue area. Okay, so one last thing I want to show you is this is what I have for the Powerball itself. Okay, so this is that red number right here. Okay, so there's 26 red numbers total. So in this column here, a blue number means that it's low, 1 to 13, and a red number means that it's high, 14 to 26. And in this column here, a red number means that it's odds, and a blue number means that it's evens. Okay, so just looking at this here, for some reason, I think this red is going to go on a little run here. Okay, so I think that this is going to be a red number. Okay, and I also think that this will be a red number as well. Okay, so I think it's going to be a high odd number for the Powerball. Okay, so as I go back to the game card, I'm going to scroll to the left. And this is for the 50-50 picks. And as I come down, the two that I really want to pick is I think there's going to be more odd numbers than even numbers. And I think there's going to be more to the red area than the blue area. Okay, so you can see that, you know, there's only 2 numbers here to the left side, so the majority has to be over here to the right side if all my picks are correct. Okay, so off to the next strategy. Strategy number 6, picking the numbers I hope will hit from groups 1 and 2. Okay, so I'm just going to concentrate on group 2 here. Okay, so again, I have 15 of these option cards. Okay, and again, they all look the same as far as red, blue, orange, green, purple, brown, gray, yellow. And it's just that the numbers that they represent are a little bit different from each other, from each different option card. Okay, so I have 15 red areas, 15 blue, 15 orange. Okay, so I like to keep track of that as a group. Okay, so I'm going to show you my group 2 overview. Okay, so I keep that right here. Okay, so as you can see, this is the red areas, the blue, the orange. Okay, so last drawing in the red areas, I had 12 hits and 3 misses. Okay, so the magic number here is 8. Okay, so if there's 8 or more hits, I color this red for hot. If there's 8 or more misses, I color this blue for cold. Okay, so that helps me able to predict what's going to be hot and cold as a group. Okay, so for this drawing here, I'm going to guess that this blue area is going to be hot, so I think that this will be red up here. Okay, and over here, I think this yellow is going to double up on the red here. So I think there's going to be lots of hits in the blue area and lots of hits in the yellow area. Okay, so as I scroll over, You can see that's what it says. Lots of hits in Group 2 in the blue and yellow areas. Okay, so what I did here is, as I go back to Group 2, option card number 1 here, I look to see what's left on the game card in the blue area and then the yellow area. Okay, so here you can see that there's nothing left, so I put a 0. And over here in the yellow area, you can see that it's the 48 and 64 that's left, so I wrote that down. Okay, so in option card number 2, you can see that here's the blue area, the 9 through the 16, and the yellow area is the 57 to the 64. Okay, so what's left is the 9 and 13, the 11 and 13, which I wrote down. And in the yellow area, it's the 59, 62, and 64. Okay, so I did that with all 15 option cards. Okay, so now it's off to the next strategy, the final strategy, picking my numbers. Okay, so the numbers that I'm going to go with for this drawing are the 6, 13, 47, 48, and 62. Okay, so having this combination like that, okay, is going to give me 9 hits and 6 misses in the blue area and 9 hits, 6 misses in the yellow area. Okay, so as I go back to the Group 2 overview, I think that this is going to be a 9 right here and a 6 right here. And over here, I think that this is going to be 9 and a 6 as well. Okay, so another thing, I thought there was going to be more even numbers than odd numbers. So you can see that there's the 6, the 48, and the 62 will make that more even than odd. Okay, and the other thing is I thought there was going to be more to the red area here. Okay, so you can see that the 62, 48, and 47 will give me the majority in this red area. Okay, so again over here you can see that this is how I came up with things. Okay, so this will give me 9 hits, 6 misses. Okay, so the numbers that I'm going to go with again for this drawing are the 6, 13, 47, 48, and 62. Okay, folks, if you're interested in my game at all, you can go to my Patreon webpage. It's www.patreon.com/Decoding the Powerball. Or you can email me personally at decodingpowerball@gmail.com. Again, that's decodingpowerball@gmail.com. All right, folks, I appreciate you watching. If you like the content, please subscribe. And as always, best of luck with your picks.